Oh, greetings and welcome, people. Thank you very much for staying there and not coming out and killing me. Yes, I did think that car was going to just come straight out then for a second. You may remember that the video before last I mentioned I was just out on a short run to warm the engine up ready for an oil and filter change, and that didn't happen because I couldn't find the drain plug crush washer. Goodness me, it's a tongue twister. Well, I now have received another batch of crush washers, so again, rather than just leave the bike sitting on its centre stand idling away to warm it up, excuse me, I would rather take it out for a quick run on a beautiful Good Friday of the Easter weekend, late April. Yes, it is late April, and I have already dug out my summer ventilated jacket and gloves because it is in the low 20s today. Absolutely fantastic. And also the last video uploaded was the epic day trip out, or most of a day trip out video, 45-minute long video. And the absolutely fantastic news is that uploading that 45-minute video that on our old broadband connection would have taken 10 to 11, maybe even 12 hours, took about 50 minutes. Yes, 50 minutes. Bloomin' marvellous. And it made absolutely no impact that I was able to detect on the rest of our internet performance. Nobody complained about any slowdown or unusual amounts of buffering or anything like that. So it looks like we're in the clear as far as that's concerned. I just thought I might take a few minutes to explain to people who think I might be making a big deal out of this broadband thing. Now I know that I did say in one of my recent videos that I was an IT professional for quite a long time. And I know some of you younger folks that very kindly subscribe to this dreary old man's channel probably don't remember a time when there wasn't an internet, when we didn't have the World Wide Web, that sort of thing. You may have been around longer than the internet has, but you were maybe young enough that you didn't really understand what it was all about. But of course, before the internet, we had for a few years before the internet became a thing, we had dial-up. I don't know if any of you remember dialing up to bulletin boards and things like that. But because, as I say, I was in IT for nearly 40 years, I've been... I've been around within that environment for almost all of the development progression of domestic telecoms, if you see what I mean, data communications. It's way back in the early days. Business computers didn't really have a huge amount in the way of communications. They certainly didn't have what we have now. The first few computers I worked on as a computer operator, they had terminals on them connected by twin axial cable, and they certainly weren't connected to other computers, if you see what I mean. There was no communications off-site or within site. To go to domestic data telecoms, the first modems, and I do stress the point, it was modems, modulators, demodulators, so they were analog devices. that were generally available other than teletext devices. But let's go with the first sort of modems that most people at home would have had. Did 300 baud. That's a word, B-A-U-D. Now it's a word that signifies bits per second. So nowadays we talk in data speeds in terms of bits per second, but in the early days it was baud, but it means the same thing. And as I say, those first ones were 300 baud in each direction. So if you think about that, 300 bits of data, and if you very roughly take 10 bits as equaling one character, alphanumeric character or punctuation character, data flow control character, that's 30 characters of some sort per second in each direction. And the very early ones were what they call half duplex. They could either send at one time or receive at one time. They couldn't send and receive at the same time. So 30 characters. So if you imagine that most screens, even back then, were 40, possibly 80 characters wide, you're talking about up to 2 seconds to write a line of information across the screen. So if you think of all these early films of computer screens with the data filling it a line at a time, that was actually correct. That wasn't done for effect or anything like that. That was how it actually looked. So 300 bits per second. And now we're talking about digital subscriber lines. That's what the DSL stands for, digital subscriber line. With speeds up to, I think the last time I checked on my router, we were getting downstream speed, that's speeds coming from the outside world into our network at home, of 68 megabits. So we've gone from 300 bits per second to 68, let's round it for the sake of convenience, 68 million bits. So that's, call it 70, just for the ease of working. 70 megabits, divide by 10, 7 million characters, alphanumeric, etc. 7 million, from 30 to 7 million. Now this is basically over the same copper wire that has always fed our property. So the only thing that's changed is how that information is sent over the line. It's gone from analog via modem to digital via what is now called a router. So that shows you then that nearly 40 years, the amazing advances in telecommunications technology. So because I've basically seen all stages of it, not been involved in developing any of it, I'm not claiming that, I probably, more than some people, have an appreciation. Let's go this way this time. We went down that way last time. Oops. An appreciation of the differences that some people may not. You may have gone from copper broadband at 10 to 15 megabits to fibre broadband at 60 to 70 megabits. So yes, you'll notice a difference in speed, but you probably may not appreciate just how much things have changed. And of course it's had to, because so much information now is transmitted around the world, and we've seen that where something can happen in one part of the world and people will know about it within, well, minutes, it'll be all around the world in minutes. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's not so good. Ooh, a cafe down there. Oh, I'll give that a try one day. And going back to the 45-minute long video, one of you very clever people has actually come up with the, well, not so much the answer, but an indication that you know the answer to the little question I posed about the pub in Ashurst. Although, to be fair, whether you knew that or whether you looked it up, I don't know. But either way, I didn't stipulate that you weren't allowed to look it up, so good for you. So well done, OldManTony, and thank you for not actually putting the full answer just yet. Let's see if anybody else can show their knowledge or their age, more likely. So as I say, this is just a quick ride round, slightly different route from last time, to warm the bike up. It's warming up nicely. Again, this will be a short video. I won't bother filming changing the oil and filter. Nothing exciting to see there. The only thing that might be exciting is any of the bolts seized, but I'm very careful when I do this work. So one thing I was expecting to happen is that once I ordered the new crush washers, I did expect the ones I already had to suddenly appear from somewhere, but that hasn't happened, so I'm fairly certain I didn't use them all, because I buy them in packs of 10. Not that I change them every oil and filter change. I don't change the O-ring seals on the filter cover every oil ring, every oil ring, oh, excuse me, every oil and filter change either. It's not necessary if you're careful about how you tighten them up, and if you don't over tighten them, make sure like the O-rings are oiled so they don't bind and grip on the surfaces when they're done up. But I will need to get some for next time, and I'm probably not going to buy them from Triumph. I can get one O-ring from Triumph for about £5, £4 or £5. I can get 5 for the same amount from an eBay vendor, and they are nitrile oil resistant rubber, so they're exactly what's needed. Yes, you do get replacement O-rings with the replacement filter, and although the filter is compatible with my machine, the large O-ring that comes with it is too big. Now, I know people can cut these O-rings and use super glue to stick them back together to make them fit, but I'd rather not risk losing this very expensive oil because I tried to save a couple of quid. Doing 60 because I don't know. So I did actually experiment once with cutting and gluing an O-ring that was slightly oversized, and I wasn't happy with it. It didn't make a clean join, so I'm fairly certain if I'd tried to use that it would have leaked. Yeah, I'll when I've got the filter out of the bottom of the engine, I will measure the groove where the O-ring goes and get the correct size, put in a pack of 5. and replace it the next time I do the oil filter change. You can stay in this lane as well, you know, my friend. Don't mind. Thank you. Nice Porsche. Nice Mercedes. Limit along here. Yes, I know it's a limit, not a target, but absolutely no reason for doing 40. Except for there is now, because it's a 40 limit. Ooh, circus is in town. So there we are, heading home now. We'll give the bike about 10 minutes or so to let the temperature come down a little bit. I don't want to get scalding hot oil all over my hands. I do use gloves when I'm changing engine oil. In fact, when I'm doing most work on the bike I wear protective gloves. Especially when working with used engine oil. It can be dodgy stuff. I know I don't work with it all day, every day, but why take the chance? Gloves are pennies a pair. And I am so glad I wore my ventilated jacket and gloves. Yeesh, that is warm. So there we are. Hopefully this time I will get the job done. Can't think of any reason why I won't be able to complete the task. So I hope you're all out enjoying your bikes. It's a lovely old pickup truck. I hope you're out enjoying your bikes, having fun but being safe. And thank you for dropping by and taking a look. And speak to you again soon. Cheerio for now. Bye. Well, one thing I nearly forgot. I want to give a shout out to CalmBiker. I noticed a while ago that his channel, while still there on YouTube, most of the content had disappeared and there wasn't anything new coming up. Turns out that while he and his missus were out on a ride, some dingbat in the car took them out. His missus got a few bumps and bruises, and Mr. CalmBiker ended up with a broken collarbone. Other than that, he's just a bit knocked about, I suppose. Unfortunately, the bike he was riding, I think it's his Honda CBX 500. Apologies if that's wrong, Mr. CalmBiker, but so I don't know if you're subscribed to his channel or not, but he's another UK motor vlogger. Very enjoyable vlogs, and certainly if you aren't subscribed to him, certainly worth taking a look. He seems to be on the mend. His bike was written off, unfortunately, but unfortunately that means he now has to make do with his Kawasaki Z-Plow. Oh no, poor bugger. I don't know, these people with more than one bike, Oy. Yep, hope you're doing okay, Mr. CB. Whoa. That went a bit squiffy then. But my Scott oil is not dumping oil all over my tyre. Let's have a look at that. There could have been something on the road back there. That's where you're going. So yeah, I hope you're on the mend soon, Mr. CalmBiker. Yeah, take care out there. And the rest of you guys, it's just so easy. And one thing I would say, if you're riding a bike that still has the factory fitted horns on it, you would do yourself a huge favour if you were to upgrade those horns. I know a lot of people will say, oh, a bit of loud exhaust, that'll sort it. No, I don't subscribe to that theory, but I've certainly known that the upgraded horns on this bike have grabbed people's attention very quickly. So take care, and speak to you again soon. Bye for now.